right. Welcome to another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. As always, I'm your host, Adam Smith, with Just the Tips Coaching. And we've got a really cool guest for you guys today. I could go through the accolades that this young lady has received over the years. And I've been fortunate enough to cross paths with her a couple of times. We've been on the same stage at different events over a long number of years because we've both been at this for a minute. Although she started when she was 8, and that'll become apparent when you guys see how great she looks for somebody that's probably also running in the Gen X genre, like so many of us that are in real estate and mortgages. But I mean, literally, we're talking about a multiple most connected mortgage professional winner. Actually, that's the only one that I think we share because most of her awards are going to be things like women of influence, elite women in the mortgage industry, most powerful women in mortgages, these kinds of things. And I literally could go on and on. But welcome to the show, a first-time guest that I'm really excited to have, Laura Brandao. Hi, Laura.
Hello, Adam. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh, this is an honor, I assure you. And it's funny, I know we talked a little bit about it before we went live, and there are going to be a good number of people that catch our video cast, although obviously the majority of what goes on is the listenership in our podcast. But for those of you that are watching the video cast, live or in syndication, we do occasionally comment on how Adam's lighting and red shirt usually make Adam look red, and in this particular instance, it's legit. I spent a good chunk of the day yesterday poolside, and I am sunburned. So now what you guys are seeing as far as Adam being red as an apple is legitimate Adam being red as an apple, and not just goofy settings in video, lighting, etc. All right. So, Laura, give us a little bit of background. I mean, obviously, we could all go check out laurabrandao.com, which is your website, and it lists all kinds of great things that you're into, all of these amazing awards that you have picked up over the years. Like, that's funny because the wall behind you looks like the ones in my office with all of these NMP and MPA awards and on and on. We're going to have a contest. And see, we'll take pictures of all the plaques and see what goes on. But there was a time, this may have been, before electricity, where Laura was doing something that wasn't in the mortgage space.
Not really.
Not really. This has been Laura's entire adult life since the dawn of electricity. Laura's been in the mortgage space. All right. How did Laura get started in the mortgage space?
Well, listen, like the majority of us, right? We fell into the mortgage industry accidentally. And my mortgage journey, shall we say, began being a young mom. Me and my husband were high school sweethearts. We got married when I was 19 years old, and we, boom, got pregnant right away.
Of course.
Wasn't planned for that to happen, but here we are, two young people looking at each other going, now what do we do? Because we can't afford daycare. So what shall we do, honey? And so I said, you know what? I'll stay home. You go to work. And then after about, maybe a year, I said, I am losing my mind. I am someone that's very high energy and I need to do something. And so I applied at a call center. I could work in the evening. I could hand baby off to my mother-in-law when she came home and go to work in the evening. Now here's Adam. I love listening to Steve Jobs' speech where he was speaking to Stanford in 2005. Yeah. And he tells that speech about how when you look back on your life, you can pinpoint certain decisions that you made in your life that kind of catapulted you into the future. Now, what happened when I went for that call center interview is one of those decisions. I was sitting across, actually, this will date us. The woman was smoking in her office when I was being interviewed. That's how I remember it, right? As a young person. And I was like, oh my goodness gracious. I'm like locked in this little cubicle with this woman smoking. But anyway.
Airports, airplanes. Yeah, people were still smoking everywhere. Hospitals, if you were in the tobacco belt.
Hospitals. There you go.
Only in North Carolina, but yeah.
So the woman said to me, oh, Laura, we'd love to have you work in the evening. But I have a question for you. We have two positions open. The first position, you wait for the phone to ring, and that's more of a customer service role. And the second position, you call people, during dinner time, when they're playing with their children,
Telemarketing.
help them.
Yeah, always a good time. That's fun.
And I decided I wanted to control my destiny. I didn't want to wait for anything. I wanted to make the phone calls. And they
Love it.
put me on a mortgage campaign. It was during a time when the rates were starting to come down.
So
And
this isn't really you working for a mortgage company.
Nope.
This is you working for a telemarketing company in
That is
essence.
correct.
And the campaign that you first had was they were hired by a mortgage company. Wow. Okay.
That is correct. So I loved doing this. I loved having conversations with borrowers and saying, hey, Mr. Smith, what interest rate are you paying now? And he would say, I'm paying 8.5%, 9%. And I would say, Mr. Smith, the rates have come down. You have to speak to one of our loan officers because I think we can save you money. And I was generating so many leads that I thought it was so much fun. I was having a ball doing it. Well, Adam, here's another one of those decisions. So in this for about maybe 3 months, and I turned to my husband. Now you got to remember, I'm like 20 years old, right? And I turned to my husband and I say, you know what? One day I want us to own a house. Now you got to understand, I came from a family, nobody owned houses. Everyone was a renter. That was not common in my family at that moment. So I decide that next day when I go into work, I'm going to go and knock on the door of the highest level person at this call center I could find, which was a vice president. So I go and I knock on his door, not someone I knew, never met the man in my life. He looks up at me like, who is this young girl? And I said, excuse me, I have a question. He says, sure, what can I do for you? I said, I work in the evening on your mortgage campaign. One day I want to get a home and I was wondering, can I get some extra hours? Well, he said, sure. Why don't you stay late? You can run some reports. You can get a couple extra hours a night. Wonderful. That night, I stayed late. I printed, back then you did that. You printed out your reports. And I didn't just do what he asked. I sat down and I analyzed the reports. I said to myself, you know what? Adam is a teacher during the day. So you shouldn't put Adam on the mortgage campaign. You should take Adam and you should put him on the educational campaign because that's his passion. Move him over there in order to increase his conversion rate. Well, Adam, the next day when I came into work, that VP asked me, why did you do that? And I said, well, I thought it would give you great insight when you're making executive decisions since I'm working on the floor in the call center at night. Well, in that moment, he promoted me to run the entire call center, which had 200 telemarketers and probably 15 different campaigns going. And that was my first leap into managing and leadership.
Okay. You've got another gap to bridge here, Laura. How did we get from here into the mortgage space?
All right, now I had a second kid. I continued to work at night, until both of my kids were a little bit older. And then I said, well, now it's time. I don't want to work in the evening anymore. So I went to work at a mortgage company, starting their inside sales team. Okay. Leading, same thing, telemarketing, call center, same thing.
Just a single campaign.
Here we go again. We generated so much business, the operations team couldn't keep up with it. So I go to the CEO of the company again, and I said, hey, CEO, why don't you teach me how to process and underwrite and set loans up on a warehouse line? I was promoted to be chief operations officer for a mortgage company by the time I was 27 years old.
God, this is amazing because we talk a lot about how when we're building sales and ops, that we have to do these simultaneously because one can't keep up. we can put all the effort we want into lead gen, client retention, all of those kinds of things. But if those leads aren't getting a 5-star experience because ops can't keep up, then client retention goes out the window. Having a strict repeat and referral business goes out the window, because if they're not getting a good experience from ops, they're not going to use you again. They're not going to refer more people to you. So yeah, this is fantastic analogy of how we have to do sales and ops together. Okay, so now we're basically familiar with this particular company's entire operation, the sales side, the lead gen side, the ops side. So when it comes to processing, underwriting, closing, placing, and it sounds like you even had a little bit of work on the secondary and tertiary side.
Yeah,
mainly
on. Yeah, it was warehouse, it was execution, best efforts. How to maximize your pricing, all of that. Yes.
Wow. Okay, so you probably started in the mortgage space with the greatest knowledge base of anybody that's ever done it. You've worked every angle in this industry.
That is correct. So now let's keep going. Now we're up to subprime days. Okay, we're getting through subprime. Okay, and I'm at a company where I have no idea if they will survive, just like so many of us were
Hundreds,
at that time. Okay, we all got that picture. And I decide to reach out to one of my account executives to ask them if they know of anywhere, quote, that was safe, which there was nowhere safe. We all know that. Okay.
And that account executive was with a company that was on Lender Implode. So, okay.
Actually, it was IndyMac. So, yes, you're correct.
I thought you were going to say option 1, but fine.
You got the picture.
Now we're dating ourselves. Jeez.
I then call up the CEO of the company she referred me. And he says to me, Laura, I've got about 30 people. I just got my lender approval to be able to do FHA. And I would like to start a wholesale lender only doing one product, FHA loans down to a 500 credit score. So I say, you know what? I can do that. I know how to run sales. I know how to run ops. I know FHA guidelines inside and out. And he turns to me and he says, Laura, this is no salary, 100% commission. But if you build it and you do well, it's yours. But you know what? If nothing happens, nothing happens. So Adam, the punchline of that is I grew that company into the 4th largest FHA wholesale lender at one point, #1 in so many niche products, and I sold that company in 2022.
Oh, that's recent.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so Laura, all this seasoning, all this experience, what's relevant from all of that? I mean, we've got to be talking about a quarter century here. What's relevant from all of that today? Again, I do want people to know, and please go check out, and I'll actually post a link here. Go check out laurabrandao.com. That's Laura, typical spelling, BRANDAO.com. And really, now I'm gathering most of your time is Lighthouse.
Well, most of my time was AFR wholesale for 15 years.
Then, sure.
And now, so once I sold my company that we all built together, then I went into the consulting side. So Lighthouse Advisors was born from there, because now I have the joy of taking all of that experience that we just spoke about and being able to share it with loan officers, with brokers, with IMBs, with banks and credit unions, with technology companies, with pretty much anyone that needs to have a full understanding of what they need to your point. What do we need to do with all of that experience to be successful in 2025 and beyond?
Okay. And what do we need?
Yeah, well, #1, the greatest lesson I can say is starting in a call center was probably one of the greatest gifts I was ever given. Why? #1, I'm not afraid to ask or speak to anyone about anything.
Well, the phone is huge. We've talked about a lot of other old dogs in the mortgage space, and I'm not referring to you that way, I promise. But we talked a little bit about Greg Frost and Brian Stevens and Frank Garay. One of the things Frank had said to me, oh my gosh, I don't know, 15 plus, maybe even 20 plus years ago, was pick up the phone. There's money at the other end of that line.
That's right.
And then, of course, it hasn't been that long, maybe 5 years. Carl White published a book called Overcoming Call Reluctance. And I said, well, Carl, I don't need that. I don't have any call reluctance. I'm happy to pick up the phone. I think that's where the money is. I still make hundreds of non-transaction related outbound phone calls a week, hundreds. And he said, nope, read it, because I promise you, you do still have some call reluctance. And he was right. Great book for those of you in either of these spaces, mortgage, real estate, even insurance, financial planning. Get yourselves a copy of Overcoming Call Reluctance. It's fantastic. But yeah, I think call centers start, and that's basically how I started when I was hired as a loan originator. I was given a computer and a desk and a copy of Point. I don't think it's any different today than it was then, right? And a telemarketing list, basically.
Yeah.
And a pat on the bottom. Good luck, kid. Kind of thing. But yeah, I think I still, 25 years later, think picking up the phone is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So that, from a foundational standpoint, I think being able to communicate effectively and explain why people need to follow what your message is. So I think that is one of the things that has gone across decades of my experience. The other thing is, you even picked up on it when I first started explaining. I never stop learning. Never. If I don't know how to do something within the mortgage industry, I'm going to learn it. And I don't believe in asking anyone that works with me or for me to ever do something that I haven't learned first. Now, they may become an expert beyond me, but how can I direct them or ask them to perform a task or a job or something without actually understanding what it takes to do it? I also have learned to put the right people in the right seats. I didn't know that early on, right? One. Like, yeah, it's a big one.
Well, no, that's not true, because you already admitted that you did. When you ran those first analyses for the telemarketing company, you said, hey, this guy's a teacher during the daytime, and you've got an education campaign going on. You actually did have a little bit of foresight. You knew that there were going to be people better suited for specific roles and tasks than where they were or where you are or were. And yeah, that's huge. That's one of the things we certainly talk about a lot when we're talking about team building and team structure. Different personality types, different tasks associated with it. How can we get people more job satisfaction? How can we get people to perform at a better level because they're going to be doing things that they're good at and like to do? So yes, you did, Laura. Don't sell yourself short.
Maybe I've gotten even better. Maybe I've gotten even better at it.
Oh, I know you have.
Over time. So that is another skill that has absolutely been part of the reason why I've been able to build companies, is because I'm not afraid to say, you know what, this isn't your passion. Like, this isn't what you truly want to do. And I move them around even before they're able to voice it, based on how they perform. And then the other thing is that I believe we all need to get out of our comfort zones and do something that scares us every single day. That's another thing that I have a book series that you'll see on my website called Say Yes Every Day. That whole thing came out of, I believe that I go into everything without labeling it. See, as humans, so many times we label things as good or bad or indifferent. Well, I go into everything just being open-minded. I'm not trying to label it as good or bad. It just is. It's the experience. It's actually doing something that we haven't done before, like today, meeting you, getting to know you, being able to share this. Phenomenal. And every day we need to do things
Eleanor
like that.
Roosevelt, right? Who said, do something every day that scares you?
Maybe.
I think that mentality, that quote, is that old. I mean, that had to be 1940. We're talking, 85 years ago? and it still holds true. Absolutely. We should be doing something every day. And guys, don't get me wrong. I know the grind. I know the importance of having a well-oiled calendar. I know the importance of time blocking, so on and so forth. But find a way to push a degree. Push outside of your comfort zone a little bit, a lot. It depends on what that happens to be. But yeah, push a little bit every day. It's how we become, well, we frequently tell lots of people, coaching clients in particular, you don't have any competition. And if you're a loan originator or a real estate agent, you don't. The only thing that I am concerned about is you understanding that your only competition is you. You just need to be a little bit better tomorrow than you were today. Although when I'm feeling kind of saucy, I'll say you just need to suck less tomorrow than you do today. That kind of thing. But yeah, absolutely pushing that comfort zone just a little every day. If we can just build a little bit and now I'm going to probably bring up Atomic Habits that everybody has read.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And we make those little 1% adjustments. And if we do it 100 times, we've made 100% improvement.
Yeah.
So
agree.
Yeah, those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. Tell us about where Laura is today. What are we doing now?
So when I stepped away from the day-to-day of a mortgage company, I decided that now it's about that final legacy, right? And that final legacy includes lots of different things. One part of that legacy is, you had mentioned the women's stuff, right? Sure. That was accidental. In 2018, I took the stage for the very first time, and I had a line of women waiting to speak to me. I was confused. I didn't understand. I'm like, why are all these women want to speak to me? And they said, Laura, we don't see a lot of successful women executives running large mortgage companies on stages. We just don't see it.
Not enough.
And so I said, we need to make a change about that. Yeah. We need to do something. Now I will tell you it is much better. In only 7 years, it is improved and it is getting better and better. So that's great.
The needle has moved in a measurable way. I agree.
It's made the change. So with that, I do a lot of work with helping women that are coming up, through the ranks, whether it's origination, whether it's running companies. So that is something that's very, very important to me. But in addition to that, it's also, how many other companies can I take that knowledge base? Whether, like I had mentioned, I sit on a lot of boards now. Some of them are organizations. Some of them are for-profit companies, whether it's AI companies, whether it's different marketplace companies, whether it's insurance, whether it's venture capital, whether there's a lot, and mortgage companies also. And so right now, it's a lot of taking all of that knowledge and how can I, at the largest mass of people, be able to educate and lift up and be able to continue to improve? Because I believe I want this industry better than I ever saw it. I want us continually improving to be better and better.
Okay, so I'm going to make a confession, and it's been a couple of years, so I'll probably get away with it. But I was, as just the tips representative, and I'm there with my team, including Dave Ryder, who and you were speaking at a women's only event. And It may have just been a half a day as an add-on to another mortgage conference, to a bigger mortgage conference. But I will tell you true, David and I decided that we were going to dress like the hotel casino maintenance employees so that we could sneak in and listen to all of the women speak at this women's only event. We just hung out in the back. I'm not kidding. We hung out in the back. We absolutely looked like we were employees. Like we were maintenance guys, cleaning guys, whatever. But yeah, we did do that with the intent of being able to hear, oh gosh, you and Lindsay Sills, now Lindsay McCoy, and a handful of other women speak at this event because the knowledge base is insane. What you guys have to give to these audiences, what you guys have to offer these rising women in the industry was so valuable that we absolutely felt we needed to sneak in and
So did you get value out of it?
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was absolutely worthwhile. I mean, don't get me wrong, just because it was a women's event doesn't mean that the content was gender specific by
No,
any means.
we try not to. We
Yeah, of
try
course.
not to do that. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, no, it was well worth every effort David and I made to sneak in guised as casino hotel maintenance guys so that we could listen to that half a day event. So thank you for that, David. Sorry I called you out on that one. Hopefully, I can't remember where it was. It may have been Caesars.
Could be.
Can't remember, but yeah. But hopefully they won't come looking for us trying to
Listen,
impersonate
I'm actually
employees.
impressed. I'm impressed that you wanted to get kind of a peek behind the curtain to see if there was something valuable. So
Oh, it was amazing.
I respect the effort there. That's wonderful.
I won't take full credit for that. It may have even been David's idea. It probably wasn't, but I'm going to push him under the bus in case the hotel casino people do come after us. But no, it was absolutely well worth it. And I know you and I have spoken at the same events at different times. It hasn't been frequent enough or consolidated enough for you and I to be able to spend this kind of time together, but I'll change that. I promise. We'll make a greater effort to do these kinds of things. All right. And I have to ask you, because I know that the audience is going to ask me if we don't cover it. We love Laura. We know who she is. We've seen her circumnavigating the mortgage space forever. And Laura just mentioned that she's sitting on the board for some for-profit AI companies. In addition to AI in the mortgage space, or what we should probably now refer to as the mortgage tech space, what else do people need to have their eyes open to as we march through this another technological revolution? I mean, you and I have seen the days where you sat in front of the fax machine in the morning because the lenders faxed in their fucking rate sheets. And then you sat in front of it all afternoon on thermal paper, no less. Yeah. And then you sat in front of it all afternoon to fax in your conditions.
Oh, yeah. Stacks.
Right. So we've seen technological revolutions before, but I think this one that we're right in right now is big.
Agreed.
And I see a lot of LOs failing with AI, even the ones that are trying. It's almost like we're creating problems we don't have and don't need for AI to solve, rather than focusing on how to use it with the problems we already have. But I'm willing to bet that you've got some insight for our audience as far as this current technological revolution and what we need to be keeping our eyes and ears open for.
Yeah. So the first thing is, hands down, Adam, this will be the biggest technological advancement in the mortgage industry and in all of the industries that we have ever seen in our lifetime. Right. I mean, that's a given. So with that in mind, we need to be mindful. We can't go chasing every shiny ball. We can't necessarily.
Okay, that still holds true.
Yes. Please, everyone, do not go and sign up for every single email that you get for the latest and greatest. Make sure that you're doing your homework. Make sure you're listening to wonderful people like Adam that's going to guide you and tell you some of the things to watch out for and take a look, right? So with that, become educated. I had said that one of my reasons why I've been able to progress in the industry is I try to stay in front of everything.
You're going to learn it first.
Learn it first. You can't go out and buy your way out of things. This isn't going to be that situation. No. You have to know what is out there, how it can help you. And this is the biggest thing I need everyone to remember. Your ability to connect and your relationships, whether it's your referral partners, whether it's the families you're serving, that is going to be your differentiator. AI is there to keep your productivity high and allow you to do things in a smarter, more effective way.
More systemization, more automation.
Yes, it will not replace you as a human with a personality. So
Oh,
you
wow.
know what you need to be doing? You need to be implanting your personality and why people should do business with you stronger and bigger than ever, because the quick and the efficiency and the productivity and all of that, everyone's going to have the same thing. We're all eventually going to be using the latest and greatest AI products over the course of the next couple of years. But you know
We
what's going to be
hope.
different? You're
You're
the
gonna
differentiator.
you're gonna love this because we get the question a lot. People ask, is AI going to take my job? And the answer to that is no. The people using AI are going to take your job.
Yes.
But Laura's absolutely right here, gang. It still requires you being, well, human, being authentic, being transparent, being constant, being consistent, and actually getting, building, furthering, developing relationships.
Yeah.
For as long as Laura and I are going to be in the business, and we'll see how long that goes, or for as long as we're going to be alive, this is still going to be a relationship business.
Correct.
Absolutely focus on it. Continue to focus on it. Yes, use tech, use AI to get your customization, your systemization, your automation more and more, especially in that ops piece that we talked about earlier, kids. This is a great tool for making your operations get to a point where you doing more on the sales side is going to withstand that pressure test. That's really the gist.
That's the AI companies that I work with, that I sit on the board. That's where it is. It's on the underwriting piece. It's on the processing piece. And again, we're not eliminating the underwriters. You know what we're doing? We're making it so they're complete packages, so they don't have to touch it 10 times. They're only looking at a file maybe 2 times. That's where you're picking up that efficiency and that productivity and a better client experience. That's what we're focused on. And that's what everyone needs to be focused on. But guys, I'm telling you, your digital footprint out there is vital. So if you don't have one, you're a ghost. No one knows who you are, and no one's going to know who you are in the future to do business with you.
So true. You were probably at this event, maybe even speaking at this event, but one of the other speakers was Gary Vee. And I don't think there's any doubt for those of us that have been around for a minute. I do talk to newer LOs and agents that don't even know who Gary is, which seems weird to me. And Gary was selling a product that was, when he first started to really integrate things like social media and the human condition, he was selling a product that was far more interesting than mortgages. Selling wine is going to be a little different than selling mortgages. But Gary said something to us that was profound. He said, you need to be putting up 40 pieces of social media content per day across all platforms. Okay, you were there.
And, I was there. I remember
and we all got deer in the headlights. Like, whoa, what? And while mortgages aren't as sexy, and maybe that number isn't going to ring true for everybody, and it's not that big a number anyway when you're talking about all the different platforms and cross-posting and so on and so forth. I mean, I could come up with 8, 10, 12 a day that are just pretty much automated right now anyway. But one of the things that he kind of pulled the curtain back on a little bit that I found really interesting is the current dying nature of what we had always defined as search engine optimization. And that SEO has been shifting as of late. And Gary was very cutting edge at the time when he said this, that at some point it's going to be, and this is going to confuse the device in my home office here, it's going to be, Alexa, help me refinance my house. Apple, help me, or Siri, sorry, I'm a grown-up, so I use Samsung. But Siri or Google or whatever the case may be. And that's the future of what SEO is really going to look like.
Because you're going to have and even to this day, that's what they're saying. You're going to have an AI agent. Every human being will have an AI agent that asks whatever it is. I need a box of, Toasty Oats, okay.
We're already doing it. Add this to my shopping list. Hey, place my regular order, so on and
Yep.
so forth, all the time. If we can take that mentality, and I know all of you know it and see it, you know full well that your smart device, your phone, whatever it is, will ask you, hey, do you want me to add these to your shopping list? Or, hey, do you want to complete your order? If you take that methodology, that ideology, that technology, and really start to think about how it can help you in your business, then you're going to put some really valuable pieces together. Really valuable. But a lot of what's going to drive those results for you in your business is that constant, consistent activity. You will gain better, more profitable results if you start marching down those paths now. Right?
Exactly.
Don't get too far behind the ball, boys and girls. I still come across people that aren't doing a lot of video work. I still come across people that aren't doing milestone videos. Like, this is, you
I
were
was
behind
going
the
to
ball
say
a decade ago.
that was innovative in like 2018. Like, I mean,
Oh,
think about how
yeah.
long it's been, right?
Or-
like, it's
or
no longer
earlier.
innovative even. Yeah.
But still so valuable. If you are not doing that kind of work, it's not too late. Let me put it that way.
Agree.
But now we're seeing another type of technological revolution, another type of relationship building tool, these kinds of things. And yeah, don't fall behind on all of them.
No. The good and exciting thing, I mean, listen, I walk around all day and I'll be like, I love living in 2025 because something that used to take me a few hours now takes me a few minutes, And that's the way we have to look at it.
Okay.
Not to be
Does
scared.
Laura have a robot lawnmower?
Not to be scared by this, because remember, the good news is the reset button has been placed. So even if you were someone that you were like, I've got this all figured out, as of right now, it's almost a level playing field that we all can start to jump on this and be able to see how we can maximize this for our particular positions for the future. That doesn't happen, but maybe every 30 years or something, right? Here's your chance.
I think it's important. I think it's important for those of you that, have been around long enough to know who I am, who Laura is, Brian, Frank, Carl, Greg, all these names that we've mentioned. Yes, the playing field is level, but you need to know that people that are coming into your industries today, mortgages, real estate, etc., have that leg up. They've been around this from day one. So you guys have got to do what Laura does and learn it. You've got to get educated about some of these things. And that doesn't mean that you have to adopt and implement. It may not be something that you think fits with who you are, what you do, but you've got to know. So, yeah, no head in the sand. Let's keep going. Laura, this has been amazing.
Been fun, Adam. This kind of stuff excites me. And you know what? We are truly blessed to be part of such an amazing industry.
True story.
Regardless of the cycles, regardless of all the navigating we've all done, we are truly blessed to be in this industry. And remember that the work that all of you do every single day makes a difference. And just remember that.
That is so true. And just so you have an understanding of how I feel about that particular sentiment, I have signs taped up on my computer monitors, home and work, one up above the big marker board that's still in my office because I am old, still have a big dry erase board in my office. And it says, we're here to help people. We're here to help people. That's the bottom line with all of it. And now I'm really going to sound old because that's just old Zig Ziglar type of shit. Help as many people as you can get what they want, and you'll get what you want.
That's exactly right.
Really the bottom line. Okay, Laura, I'm going to get you booked for another episode because this has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for doing it.
My pleasure.
And I will absolutely ping you some dates for our next season because, we have to have you back.
Well, thank you so much. Remember, guys, just keep helping others and it will come back to you.
True story. I'm going to pop this up here one more time just so you guys can see. Go check out laurabrandao.com. Again, LauraBrandao, laurabrandao.com, because there are so many amazing resources. Even if you did nothing but just go watch episodes of podcasts she's been a guest on or video casts, listen to the podcast like this, or go watch hers. It's Winning Wednesdays.
Wednesday Wisdom.
Wednesday Wisdom. These kinds of things are an invaluable free resource for you guys. Go take advantage of it. All right. That being said, for those of you that are watching or listening live or in syndication, thank you for tuning in. We will be back next week with another episode. You can catch us live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube at 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 Eastern on Mondays. The podcast is up on Amazon, Apple, and Spotify a mere 48 hours later. Again, How I Met Your Mortgage. If you'd like more information about what we do, copies of the books I've written, and I should mention that Laura is also a published author on some of these subjects as well, but either Just the Tips or Mindset Tools for Sales, or if you want to check out the Mile High Mastermind, or you want to see our video blog, The Weekly Little Tip, whatever it is, all the things, go check out justthetipscoaching.com. Laura, I know carving out this kind of time on a Monday is a task. Thank you for doing it. I'm going to run our extra. Don't take off too far. I'll give you a little bit of information about what we'll do with all of this content after the fact. For the rest of you, thanks for watching or listening, and we will see you guys next time.